We're going to talk about the different components of your nervous system and kind of the functions of each. In general, your nervous system can be broken down into two parts. Your central nervous system, which consists of your brain and your spinal cord, and that really is the part of the nervous system that sort of controls, has the most control over what's going on in your body. So that's the central nervous system, brain and spinal cord. And then we have the peripheral nervous system, and that consists of nerves and neurons located outside of your brain and spinal cord in every other part of the body. Now, if we take the peripheral nervous system, we can further break that down into the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system controls your skeletal muscles. So when you tell your arms to move or your legs to move or your neck to turn or whatever, those muscles are, pardon me, those muscles are doing that in response to nerves from your somatic nervous system. So this causes the muscles to move. On the other hand, we have the autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system controls muscles located in your heart and your intestines. So basically smooth muscles. Now, the difference is this. Somatic nervous system you have a conscious control of. So when my arm moves, I'm telling my arm to move. The autonomic nervous system you don't have conscious control of. Like, I don't have to control my heart rate. I don't have to tell my heart to beat. I don't have to tell my lungs to breathe. I don't have to tell my intestines to digest my food. This is all happening on its own. For me, it's easy to remember because autonomic kind of sounds like automatic, in which, I'm not having to think about it. It's just happening on its own. We can further break down the autonomic nervous system into the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. And as the names might suggest, they are antagonistic to each other. What I mean is they do exactly the opposite. So this should sound familiar to you. If we go back to the endocrine system, we talked about the fight or flight response. And that's what the sympathetic nervous system is. That's the fight or flight response. So if you're walking down the street and then out from a yard jumps a big dog, your sympathetic nervous system is going to kick in, the fight or flight. You're going to go through a number of changes that will help prepare you to fight that dog or run away. So things that would occur here, your heart rate would increase, your blood pressure would increase, your breathing rate would increase. So that will improve the amount of delivery of oxygen and nutrients to your muscles, so you're better able to fight that dog or run away. On top of that, your bronchioles will dilate, so allowing more oxygen into your lungs and then into your blood. Your pupils will dilate. Your pupils will get bigger, so as to allow more light in, so you can see better. And other things, the amount of breakdown of glycogen in your liver will increase blood sugar in your system. And the other thing that might not be intuitive, it's actually going to sort of inhibit your intestinal activity. So it's going to kind of turn off your intestines and stop them from digesting your food and breaking them down. And the reason is, if you're in a life and death situation and you have to fight that dog, run away, your intestines are using a lot of energy in digesting the food, and that's energy that can be used elsewhere. So in this situation, your intestinal activity is inhibited. Now, when you escape from the dog and you go back into your house, eventually your body will return to normal. And that's the job of the parasympathetic activity. So this is also called the rest and digest system. Rest and digest. The responses of the parasympathetic nervous system are exactly opposite of the sympathetic nervous system. So what we're going to see is a lowering of your blood pressure, lowering of your heart rate, lowering of your breathing rate. Your bronchioles went from really thick, now they're going to go back to where they were before, so thin, they're going to constrict. Your pupils are going to constrict as well. So remember, in the sympathetic they dilated, here they're going to go back to normal. And also in this, our intestinal activity is going to be turned back on. So remember, in the sympathetic nervous system, intestinal activity was turned off. Here it's going to be turned back on, hence the rest and digest.